a company that was established in 2024, okay? Everything here. For those with a company or sole proprietorship, you probably already understand how share capital works. You have to put in the share capital, which is an amount that people often put less than they actually have, or more and so on, because when you're starting out, you don't really know how things are going to be, right? But the share capital of Copenhagen is 40 Rs 40. Guys, I think my first journalistic services company opened about 50 years ago. It wasn't 40. I don't know, maybe 100, 150, I'm not sure. 40 raise, and then Tassio just explained to us here. 2 months after this company was opened, which doesn't have a headquarters, right? It's registered at an accounting office address. It doesn't have a website. It's a company that basically, if you look for it, you won't find it. I want to hire Copenhagen's advisory and consulting services. You won't find this business. 2 months after it was opened in 2024, Master makes a capital injection of around 10 or 11 million just like that. Why, right? Guys, nobody even knew this company had been opened. In other words, this company was very likely created for this purpose. That's pretty clear. And then a few months later, Master makes more contributions, totaling from what we see here in the graphic made for the report, 57,937,900, almost 60 million. This company has Rogerio Lorenzo Novo as its director, who is also a managing partner at Contabil Korea. Copenhagen was registered at the address of Contabil Korea. Rogerio Lorenzo Novo had already been caught before in a big tax evasion scheme, right, to avoid paying taxes in the amount calculated at the time by the investigation of 100 million. And as Tassi ended up explaining, he wasn't convicted because the company that had done the scheme agreed, made a deal in court, and agreed to pay. In other words, it's not that the case didn't exist, it's just that the company admitted it and paid what it owed. And then Flávio Bolsonaro issues invoices worth 1 billion to Copenhagen and 500,000 to Contabil Korea, Flávio Bolsonaro's company. Flávio Bolsonaro, for those who don't know, is a lawyer. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, right? But he's a lawyer. Yeah, Flávio Bolsonaro's company is a sole proprietorship. The owner of the company is Mr. Flávio Bolsonaro. He issued invoices for consulting services. And then the big question that everyone wants to know. What does a lawyer do, guys? Usually they defend people in legal cases, right? That whole thing, right? What are the services provided? The news team reached out to Flávio and got no response. Wait, but hold on, guys. Is it really that simple? You did the work, issued an invoice, got the money. So what was the service? Of course, you don't need to go into the exact nature of the service, into the details. Nobody wants to know. If Flávio Bolsonaro is defending someone, this company in court, nobody is asking about the details of the product. No, but I'm defending in a case. XYZ. A few weeks ago I mentioned, and another Patricia writes here, she's also one of our members. Guys, it's the first week of Demori on the Carrera solo stream. Have a little patience. Guys, are you complaining about something I didn't see? Is it still the microphone? Is it too low? I'm trying to speak louder here, guys. Tomorrow I'll get things organized, okay? Demori, try to set up the YouTube ads differently. The way it is now, they're overlapping your speech. Alright, let me see how to do that. Guys, you know YouTube is a machine that runs on its own, right? We don't control anything. If ads are popping up in the middle, I need to figure out where to fix that, right? Okay? Calm down, everything's going to be fine. We're all going to be okay. So, we don't know what service was provided. Then Flávio Bolsonaro responded publicly in a video. This video is 3.5 minutes long, which is too long to include Flávio Bolsonaro here. If it were shorter, I might consider it. But 3.5 minutes listening to Flávio Bolsonaro on a Thursday at 7:35 in the morning, nobody deserves that, right? So let's read what he said. It's published in Forum magazine. Shouting, Flávio Bolsonaro says that the invoices issued to Vorcaro's company are just narratives. Invoices, man. We've reached a point where invoices have become narratives. Pay attention, guys. When you have to issue an invoice to your client, ask if you can already issue the narrative. Let's start doing that, because this can't be real. Can I issue the narrative for 240 Rs? Senator and PL pre-candidate for the presidency, Flávio Bolsonaro, posted a video. I don't know if he's serious. Man, we can't keep going with this. He posted a video in which he angrily rebuts a story published by Metropolis about invoices worth 1.5 million reais issued to a company linked to Daniel Vorcaro. Furious, the senator stated that the disclosure of the invoices is part of a big scheme that, according to him, involves a government agency and aims to make his candidacy impossible. Flávio Bolsonaro says, there are a lot of people who are very bothered by my candidacy for the presidency. That's true. I'm bothered, for example. I mean, more or less. It could be worse, but I'm bothered. Who's bothered by Flávio's candidacy? Chat, are you guys bothered? I'm bothered. I mean, I'm bothered and happy at the same time. Because this candidacy gives us a lot of good moments, right? Yeah, why is that, guys? According to Flávio Bolsonaro, they're mainly bothered by the numbers. That despite all the cowardly low personal attacks, show that in some polls we're ahead of the competition. Which poll is Flávio ahead of Lula in? The competition is Lula, right? Which poll is it? None. Zero. Poll? What poll? Serious poll? From somewhere you have some idea what's happening. By the way, tomorrow at 8:30 we'll be interviewing Mauricio Moura, director of Instituto Idea on Carlejon's channel after the Great War. He's been giving good interviews, writing articles, saying that this could be an election decided in the first round. Yes, despite all the cowardly attacks. Low blows. Personal. Guys, I'm fed up with this whole attack thing. Oh my god, guys, it's all attacks. People are feeling very attacked, guys. They're really feeling attacked. Calm down. Just calm down. Everyone is feeling very attacked here in Brazil. The biggest attack in history, in the universe. My god, calm down. People don't care about you that much. Relax. There are 7 billion people on this small planet, right? You're just calmer. Just calm your little heart. Take it easy. Next, Flávio Bolsonaro called the Metropolis article criminal and confirmed that he provided services for one of the companies linked to Daniel Vorcar's ecosystem. All good. A completely legal and private relationship. Wait, hold on, guys. Come on. Weren't you guys going crazy, absolutely losing it because of the services provided by Ms. Viviane Barsi de Moraes? But known as the wife of Zando? So I guess there's no problem anymore. We've reassessed. Is that it? We've reassessed. Let's wait for Flávio Bolsonaro to make a statement today saying that the invoices from Alexandre de Moraes' wife's office are just spin. And that these are attacks they're making against Mrs. Viviane. Guys, it's exactly the same thing when you look at it in terms of a political scandal. It can be said at this point in the investigation published by Metropolis, which by the way I suggest you read because the report is very thorough, very well done, and very well explained. Can it be said at this moment that Flávio Bolsonaro committed any crime in relation to this? No, that cannot be said. What can be stated? That when you put 2 and 2 together, it's the audio, my brother. It's what the deal is, it's the money that came in. It was supposed to be for 60-something million and 60 million came in. Part of it ended up in a fund in the United States that's still closed. They said they were going to show the dark horse accounts, but they never did. They did a fake self-audit, and by the way, the press dropped the ball because they published it as if it were true. The audit shows that Vorcaro's money was used for the Dark Horse movie. That's not an audit, guys. That's not an audit. Now that's a narrative. The US fund where part of the money ended up still hasn't been opened. Nobody knows what's inside. Who are the real beneficiaries? If this fund has real estate, cars, stocks, bonds, loans, or other companies, nobody knows. Who are the people connected to it? The money went in there, at least $2 million. It's not known if that money is still invested in the fund. If that money was used to pay personal expenses, for example, for Flávio's brother who lives in the United States. Nobody knows. There's no audit at all. This is a lie. This is a farce. This is a trick. Flávio at this point didn't commit any crime by issuing invoices. But look, the context is not in his favor. No, I didn't know. First, I didn't know Vorcaro. I knew. I've never seen him. Then he shows up swapping WhatsApp messages. A little audio message. My brother over there. We're together over there. Send money here, send money there. Then a meeting with Vorcaro shows up. Meeting, that's what happens when Vorcaro is at home with an ankle monitor. Then there's another meeting with Vorcaro. And now Flavio shows up issuing invoices for companies that really look like shell companies. This company is just a front, a shelf company, founded in one day with assets with a share capital of 40 Rs. 2 months later, only the founder and those who needed to know were aware the company existed, since it clearly wasn't created to provide real services. By the way, it was a company created under the corporation law. I can imagine that's exactly because it's harder to get information about corporations. They're not public. There's a lot of information that's not accessible. 2 months later, Master deposits 11 million reais. A few months later, the investment reaches almost 60 million reais in a tiny company. No address, registered at an accounting office, no website on the internet. This business probably doesn't even have any employees. And Flavio goes there to provide services for the company. Wait, weren't you also concerned about Alexandre Demori's wife? She also issued invoices, and she provided services for the group connected to Master. Why is Flavio talking about attacks?
Oh my god, they're attacking me!
Hold me back! Flavio looks like a spoiled rich kid when he's fighting, doesn't he?
Hold my watch. Hold my cap.
Hold my t-shirt. Hold my sweater, my cashmere. Hold my cashmere. When night fell, everyone left and he's still there. I have some sad news for those of you who want to destroy me, says Flavio. I won't give up. I hope you don't give up either, Flávio Bolsonaro. I hope so. I hope so. We want to see you in debates and in this wonderful election with everything that hasn't come out yet about Flávio Bolsonaro. We want to see it. According to Forum, Tarcísio responds to Flávio Bolsonaro and increases the senator's isolation after the attack on the voting machines. Governor Tarcísio de Freitas of São Paulo publicly defended electronic voting machines on Wednesday. And he said that the debate raised by Senator Flávio Bolsonaro, as Tarcísio put it, isn't going anywhere. The statement was made during an event celebrating the 25th anniversary of Band News TV in São Paulo, a day after Flávio, without evidence, linked the Brazilian voting machines to a Venezuelan company called Smartmatic in a meeting with diplomatic representatives from 42 countries in Brasilia. The guy, it's like this, literally pulled the exact same stunt as his father, right? He just didn't use TV Brazil because he's not the president, otherwise he would have used it too.